It's music, isn't it? We're going to do a mock draft. So here we are. I signed us up for a mock draft. You can do this anytime. You even have enough mock draft rooms. You had to, I want to say, middle of July, you could go in and get into a mock draft in 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute. Now it's between 5 and 10 because they just don't have, I don't know how it works, but they just don't open up enough mock draft rooms, I guess. So here we are. I wonder if that shows up in these videos. I'm sure it does. Here is ESPN's rankings. I don't know who's in charge of this. And it really doesn't change much other than Aaron Hernandez getting arrested and Jeremy Maclin and Dennis Pitta and Denari Alexander going out for the season. Those types of major guys being predicted to be significant contributors to guys that aren't going to contribute at all. So that's an easy adjustment today. You just move them way down to the bottom. Adrian Peterson is ranked number 1, and we'll discuss some of the specifics about how it is these guys come up with these rankings a little later. But Adrian Peterson's 1. I guess you can go all the way down to John Casey, who's a kicker that doesn't even have a team. So these are all free agents. Dante Culpepper, I'm pretty sure he retired. Jeff Garcia, these guys are way out of the league. You'll never come down this far in a 10-team league. 16 players, you only draft 160. You're not gonna LaDainian Tomlinson. I mean, really? He works for NFL Network now. Come up a little bit, you see some more familiar names. Tyrod Taylor, he's on a roster. He's Joe Flacco's backup. None of that's really important. I just want you to see who's all on these lists. So I just randomly, when I signed up, only 8 and 9. The 8 and 9 slot were the only ones available, so I just picked 8. It doesn't matter. If you don't know your draft position, you're not going to be able to, pick one position to consistently draft from. I don't think I was in any leagues this year where I knew more than an hour in advance when my pick was. So let's just say I heard say my draft was in 7 seconds, and I knew 2 months ago that I was picking 8. So I would come into these mock drafts, and let's say this was the only league I was going to do. Now that I've been talked over. Let's say this was the only fantasy league I was going to do. So I would just come in here and constantly pick from the 8th spot, just so I can get a feel for it. After a while, it's all the same stuff. Generally the same. Like Adrian Peterson almost always goes first, and then here's where it gets tricky. See here, this 10 is kind of a faded helmet, and then everything else is lit up. I mean, that means the number 10 guy isn't here, so we'll have to sit through him. Initially, the clock will run all the way to 0, and then after that, he's going to auto pick the rest of the draft unless he shows up. Maybe he's in the bathroom, or maybe he just doesn't care. Either way, it doesn't matter. So you just sit here and you wait. Wait for your spot. Number 4 is up. I've got 4 positions I have to wait. It'd be nice if Ray Rice, Jamal Charles fell to me. That's not likely to happen. And then some of this is about just personal preference. Like C.J. Spiller, Doug Martin, I can't tell you what it is I don't like about them, but it's just something that I don't go crazy about them. But I might not have the choice to be picky with them, because that might be who's there. And you kind of just, sometimes you just got to trust the rankings. Oh, this guy's not here either. He must have just bailed. Yeah, he did. Team The Juice, that's this team. And you come down here and see he just left the draft at 6:09. Here it is at 6:10. So he closed out the window. Now we got to wait for this to go down. Mock drafts, you got 45 seconds per pick. In real fantasy drafts on ESPN Standard, you get 90 seconds. TikTok, he's going to get Doug Martin. So I'm hoping Jamal Charles falls to me here. If not, I'll probably take Trent Richardson, because I'm just not crazy about C.J. Spiller. All right, that makes it easy. I'll take Jamal Charles. You just click on him, come over here to draft player. I'll show you the queue here. Say you're not going to be around for the draft. You signed up for this draft weeks ago, and well, now you're not going to be around. So what are you going to do? You can move these in whatever order you want. Say I'm high on Calvin Johnson, so I'll move him over here to my queue. And I like LaShawn McCoy. See, now C.J. Spiller I wouldn't be high on, so I wouldn't move. He'd be in my queue, but he'd be near the bottom, not at the 7th. He might be the 9th running back for me. I don't ever use this queue. Doesn't make much sense to me. That guy's not here either. Oh, now he's back. Just making it slow. I mean, if you're bored already, and I know I am, not only because I've done 1,000 of these, but I mean, you're just sitting here waiting. Guys that do a bunch of these, they generally don't take too much time with their picks. See, now if Spiller fell to me, I'd take him for sure. But he didn't. So now I like to go running back, so I guess Steve Jackson would be my next pick. If if you want Ridley over Jackson, that's fine. Some of this is just about preference. Holy moly, let's go. After this pick, I'm going to X out. I just want you to see what it's like. Come on. Over here, these are you see the projected offense for 2013. Here's the projected points. There goes Steve Jackson. How do you like that? So, I guess I'll take Stephen Ridley. So, there are like supercomputers. I don't even know they're supercomputers. They're computers that they can simulate games 10,000 times, 100,000 times, but I think 10,000 is about what they do. Not that that matters, but they simulate games over and over and over again, and then they average out the stats. So you could go, if you were an insider, and you could look at who's projected to do what. And actually, you don't even need to be an insider because it shows you when you go to adjust your lineup how many points are projected for that player for the week. And this is just spread out over the year. Not all these are going to be exactly right because that's not the way it works. Guys get hurt. Guys excel. Guys are let down. Cam Newton is projected for 3,883 passing yards. 296 at 497, 20 passing touchdowns, 13 picks, 726 rushing yards, and 8 rushing touchdowns. Those are his projections. So that's what that is. If you want to look at what happened last year, you can do that. Here's the 2012 offense. And you'll see guys like, where's Monte Ball? Did he get picked already? No. Just need a rookie. Eddie Lacy's a rookie. He's not going to have any stats from last year. Because there was no last year. There's Monte down here. So let me exit out of the draft, this mock draft. Come on, there we go. So I'll get an email in about 5 minutes telling me what my fake team is. And then after a half hour, it deletes itself. But you can keep the email. And you do it just to see who's available and what other people like to do and tend to do. And you'll see that it's generally about the same. Like that first round, you'll see pretty much 9 or 8, 9 of those guys go first in the first round every time. So, and the order's just different. That's all. But you just want to get an idea.